Welcome, everyone. We're going to first start by saying the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We're into the holiday season, so thank you everyone for showing up. I know that Daphne wants to make a statement to start off in a positive note.
No.
I'm just going to push that button.
Are you going to sing Christmas carols for us?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
You knew that about me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to sincerely thank our police department. We had a situation yesterday where an individual had locked themselves out of their home and they came here for help, and our police officers honestly practically ran to their home to help them. Not only did they get them into their house, but they also shoveled the ice and snow out of the way. It was absolutely incredible, and I just wanted to say I'm so grateful to our police department and to our chief. You know, the department is small, but every single one of them are incredible individuals.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I would just add that the community involvement that you've shown and have brought, to the force has just been, very refreshing and really welcome.
That's exactly how we see these.
Yep. Yep.
The force is with us.
Thanks, Captain.
Sure.
So those officers were Sergeant Saltzman, Officer Giroux, and Officer O'Neill.
Yep. Thank you. Okay.
And also the laying of the wreaths for, they were involved in that too. So Wreaths Across America. Thank you, Chief.
All right, so we have the payroll register for this evening. Unfortunately, there's a big chunk that goes to the county this week, but we'll start with payroll of $34,811, payroll taxes of $9,420. There is additional.
For holiday.
Okay. Additional payroll for holiday pay for $16,834 with payroll taxes of $4,971. The accounts payable, rather heavy, $722,490 with $690,649 being the payment to the county. I hope that I will not ever have to say that again, or at least for
Depends if you run
this
for
year,
re-election.
or at least for this year,
No, it's once a year.
once a year. So there you go. So having said that, I'll take a motion to approve the payroll.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we also have, as part of the consent agenda, we have public minutes. Those public minutes dated December 9th, 2025. We have recreation checks, which should have been reviewed and signed, as well as building permits. There is a treasurer's report after that large payment to the county. Our committed fund ending balance is $583,178. I would expect that date, December
29th. Yep.
by December 29th, we would hope that that will be fully replenished. So having said that, I'll take a motion to accept the, and
Motion.
approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have some discussion items for tonight. First being elderly exemption, disabled exemption, veterans credit. Julie, I'm going to hand it over to you in terms of at least starting the discussion and explaining where we are in terms of the credit and what there's some statutory process as well for purposes of trying to, or looking at options to increase the credit.
Sure. Currently, there's 3 levels of elderly exemptions. There's 65 to 75, and the amount is 125,000. For 75 to 80, 160,000, and 80 and older is 190. There is an application process with certain income criteria, residency criteria, and so forth. I know.
What's the 125, 160, 180? Is that just valuation or what is that?
It's based on an exemption from current valuation. So
Right.
if you're between those age brackets, there's sort of this incremental increase over time. So I think the idea is, and this was brought up by a resident in an email to the select board, and I apologize, I can't remember who
It was Dusty
They're right there.
Bunker.
Oh, you're here.
Yes.
You could even, well, good. So you could even speak to this if you like. But the idea being that where we had this reevaluation, and the reevaluation increased properties substantially, the question becomes, do we want to increase the amount of the exemption? I believe, and I haven't studied the statute, I'll be honest with you, and I started looking at it for the first time a little bit earlier, but I believe that we can do that as a board. No, or do we have to give it over to
Town meeting.
Town meeting. Yes.
Is there a maximum dollar value? Because I know some of the credits have a maximum dollar.
Yeah, I
value.
didn't see anything about that. Just it
For
gave.
the senior one specifically?
I didn't see anything in here. It just gives a minimum, and then the select board can vote to bring it to the town.
I think
Unless I
disabled
missed
and
it.
veterans might have.
I know
Yes.
veterans has a
Veterans,
max.
right.
So I was, and again, here, I apologize for not having fully reviewed this, but it says in a city or town that has adopted a charter pursuant to,
We don't have a charter.
okay, all right.
Charter would be a city, Ordinance or something? it would be a city. You charter, so you have a mayor.
So she'll be placed on the warrant of a special or annual town meeting by the governing body. Okay, so that's what our task would be if we want to increase that exemption, given the increase in the valuation.
Yes.
And the increase in the valuation was by what percentage? On average? Do we have
60-something, I believe.
very great?
Yeah.
We know very greatly.
No, it varied.
Oh,
think
varied greatly.
It varies.
No, but there was an average, I think.
I thought it was 59%.
I was thinking it was.
Well, we
Well,
can check.
We can have, you want to comment, Mark?
I believe it was 55
55.
for the town of Brentwood, yeah. Which fell right within the average, which was stated right from the beginning. They stated right from the beginning, if you were between 50 and 60%. If you were over that, it was out of the normal.
Right, okay. I mean, we should get the exact figure and confirm that, and then maybe what we can do is make some application of these amounts to that average is a thought. I don't know, unless people have other thoughts.
I had a question. We just updated these 2 years ago. When they were updated at that point, was there any goal that was set in terms of how this relates to like the average home value or anything like that? Or was it just?
Yeah, well, why don't you come on up to the seat? There's a button.
Yeah, you can have a seat.
push this, and then you just say your name.
Matt Bunker, 236 Middle Road, Brentwood. I think when it was done a couple of years ago, very few people were qualifying for it because the amount of your income was so low that people just weren't qualifying for the exemption. So I think that's where it was adjusted. We were at that town meeting a couple of years ago, and that's what they talked about, that it was really there was very few people qualifying for it at the time.
So
What's
under-
the amount of the income now?
Right, so under the qualification, it says you have to be a New Hampshire resident for at least 3 years, own the real estate individually or jointly. And if the real estate is owned by such person's spouse, they must have been married at least 5 consecutive years. The taxpayer must have a net income of not more than 50,000, or if married, a combined net income of less than 65,000, and own assets not in excess of 200,000, excluding the value of the person's residence.
I know that was one of the ones that got increased because whatever the number was before, like if you
I
had
think it was
more
like
than one car,
40,000.
yeah.
the
If you had more than
income
one
level.
car, you were immediately negated.
So 200,000 less the residence plus a combined income of 65 or 50,000 if single, married 65,000.
Right.
Yeah.
I just speak for my mother, who is on a limited income, and my father passed away a couple of years ago, so now she's, even less of an income now. So we were hoping that it could be looked at, that it could be raised a little bit, just because of our taxes went up $2,200. So it was quite a jump from what we were paying before, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm sorry, your mom's name is?
Dusty.
Dusty, yeah. And so Dusty was saying that her husband died a few months ago, so she has one income at this point, so
Sorry for your loss.
very sorry.
So anyway, that's, why we're here. We're just hoping it could be, take a look at it again and see, because of like I said, our valuation went, up. I know that everybody's did.
Yeah, so that's what we were trying to figure out, like what the average, and it sounds like it's.
And the
in that-
exemption
yeah.
was, it was pretty substantial for what our valuation of our house was. But now, with it jumping so much, it's just such a smaller percentage that the
Right.
taxes jump.
Right.
So,
And we'd have to go to the town meeting if we were gonna adjust this anyway, so it wouldn't happen until spring anyway.
but would you guys explore it now and have something to vote on then, or how's?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, the statute requires that process, that we have to explore that now, make a determination to then put it on for a vote at town meeting.
All right, so you guys would come up with something, and
Yeah.
A recommendation, and then it goes to the town meeting, and then at the town meeting.
will we know what the recommendation would be before the town meeting?
I would hope
Yes.
so, yeah.
Part of, definitely,
Yeah.
that's part of what we're talking about.
We would have to put forth a
Okay.
warrant article.
Yeah, it'd be a warrant
Mhm.
article.
Right.
So we usually have that by what, February
Mhm.
1st or something like that? So we would
Okay.
have up until February to figure out what
All right, and is that, you guys obviously, you
we
release
have
that?
meetings in public and everything else, so yeah.
Yeah, so would be another meeting on what you've come up with, or?
And I can
Or-
email Dusty and,
Yeah, no,
Let
that'd
her
be
know
great,
as
if
well.
we just know what the, what the progress is and what it would be, and,
Yeah, it's a process, because now we gotta figure out the percentages and,
yeah, no, and I understand that, and if valuations went down, or I would understand if the deduction would go down, I mean,
Right.
I would think it'd be more of a,
living,
But-
breathing.
right,
Yeah.
more of a percentage thing rather
Yeah.
than just a set value.
And I guess
So-
that would be one of the things that I'd wanna know too, is like when they set up the 125, 160, 190, was it a percentage base adjustment? Or was it just flat?
I wasn't, I mean, you might have been there the last time that.
Not
that
2
was-
years ago.
2 years ago, I
doing
think we
this.
just did the,
It was 3 years since I was really on the
did we
board.
do the income 2 years ago, or was it also the?
It was all set at the same time, I think.
I think when when it came up last time, they said they had looked at other towns and tried to put it in line with some of the statistics and, as far as income and valuation,
Okay.
deduction, stuff like that, so. But I would assume that it would be based on valuations of homes too, so that it's a percentage.
And this is only for elderly, Julie? Is there also veterans as well, or?
It's a separate
There's-
statute.
A
Yeah.
standard veterans deduction,
Right.
750.
I do want to mention that Daphne said that right now, the veterans exemptions are stacked, meaning you can get more than one. You can get the disabled and the veterans, but apparently there's going to be legislature that you can only get one or the other unless it's voted on at town meeting to allow them to be stacked. That's still in the process of being written. So once we get something more, we can talk about that one further.
And those ones, you're limited on what you can give because of what they set
Right.
by the state.
Right.
Julie, do you know how many people we have that currently qualify for the
For the
elderly?
elderly, I don't. I can check on that when you discuss this.
So do we want to at least start a discussion in terms of what people are thinking, or?
I think if, like you said, if we get the number of the average increase, but we also need to look at adjusting the income portion too, because,
Mhm.
you know,
That's
2
one
years
up.
ago, we changed, in 2 years, pay has changed a lot, so we should look at our minimums too.
I know that the average valuation for a home now is 650. I don't know if that's helpful. I think it used to be 400 before.
Well, clearly, we have some homework to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm in agreement that obviously, I think,
Yeah, I think we're all, want to make
Yeah.
some sort
Yeah,
of
I mean-
adjustment, and the question is,
What's palatable and
yeah.
what can
Right,
we
yeah.
really do, so.
Yeah.
Just looking for a little relief.
yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not something we can give tonight just because.
No,
that's
I just, we
process.
wanted to make sure it was
Yeah.
something that.
No, I.
No,
I'm-
it's on our radar now, for sure.
I'm psyched that your mom brought it up because otherwise we would have been doing this next year because I'm sure somebody
Yeah.
never would have said anything
Well,
until after
believe me,
the
when
town
we-
meeting. We would have been like,
When we got the tax bill, we.
Oh, I
figured
gulped
we were
too.
gonna- And everybody was shocked, and I understand that it was, on a 5-year, it hadn't been done for a while, but.
I blame Mark.
Well, as long as we have somebody to blame, that's.
Nice hat, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, this may be as, and again, I don't want to, predetermine anything, but it may just be as simple as figuring out what the percentage, is in terms of the
Yeah,
average and confirming that and applying that to the numbers that we have.
yeah, it would be interesting to see how they came up with the number.
Well, and
It must
yeah,
have been something that they based it on,
If I remember correctly, like Letty said, it was an average of towns around us,
so. Right.
what their,
I mean, somebody came up with the number, right?
right. We could take a,
Valuations
yeah.
of homes and what they,
Yeah.
how much relief they were trying to.
I mean, one thing we could do is take a look at the prior minutes and get a little background and context, and once we have that background and context, bring it back forward to another meeting here, and then have a more full discussion, because we're being, looking at this now for the first time, and then make a determination to put this on. But my sense is the sentiment of this board would be to certainly do
Yeah, and I
something.
think most people know the town meeting.
Take care of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want her to stay here. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for,
Bringing it
speaking
to our
with us, and thank you for bringing it to our attention. All right, so we'll
To be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. We'll try and get some more information and context on what had happened in the past. Maybe also look at the income and asset, qualifications as well, and see if that, may need some adjustment, or if we're just gonna look at the valuation for adjustment, and then we can have a more full discussion within the next couple of weeks. Make sense?
Yep, agreed.
Okay. All right. So we have some budgets. The first one being rec.
I look it up on my phone. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like one. I even brought my
I'm gonna
readers
give it.
tonight.
I'm giving it to him. Oh, never mind.
I got it on my,
I have it on my computer, so.
You can check.
thank you.
Do we have an update to give?
We do. We extended an offer to a candidate who has accepted the offer. We still have to go through the background and everything else, which is the reasoning for reopening this budget. One of the reasons for reopening this budget is to address the salary line, as we had discussed. So it's bringing the director position more in line to the 69,550 is what we're looking for budgeting. Are all the green ones the new changes?
We-
That was always, no, that changed in FICA Medicare, New Hampshire retirement,
All right, so it brings the new budget down to the,
and the coordinator was brought to the 2.8.
okay. So it brings it to 103,591 is the new, no, 141,250, right? For
Correct.
total budget.
That's a 10% increase, but I think, the main component
Is
of
this,
that increase was where we had the part-time coordinator and the had been paid out of the reserve fund.
Warner.
And you
Yeah,
had a
from the
warrant.
warrant article. This is, in the warrant article, it also indicated to be placed in, the next budget. So here we are placing that in the next budget, and I believe that,
that was 33%.
yeah,
on that
accounts
one.
for most of this increase, which is, looks like 10%. In terms of the rec director, I know we have to do some background, but we do have a contract that's been signed at this point, correct?
Yes.
So I do feel at least comfortable, announcing that, and I'm real, pleased that we are going to, pending the background checks, that we are going to have a rec director with a fairly
That will
Extensive
require
background.
your
my
signature.
Okay, we can do that. But a rec director who has a fairly significant amount of experience. Remind me, Bob, he had come from.
He's done several towns. He's got about 10 years worth of rec director experience. He has a bachelor's and a master's in that,
Sports management.
in that
Yeah.
focus. So he definitely has the skill set and the ability to come hit the ground running
Yeah.
and move us forward.
And this was after, an extensive,
Search.
search and interviews. So I think that really fills out the team that we've put together here over the last few months in a really positive way.
So I guess we can do this twofold. We'll have to, since we were talking about the budget, I'm going to make a motion that we reopen the budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I'm going to make a motion that we approve the revised budget to 141,250.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And then I'm going to make a motion for Paul to have approval to sign the contract.
Second.
Are we okay disclosing the name at this point? I don't see why not.
I would wait until background's done.
No?
Yeah, ditto.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, jumping the gun there.
Okay.
So that's did you want this or no?
Calm down down
I will go ahead and sign this. I am hoping that by the next meeting, I can make a more formal announcement, but I do think that this is a positive step for the rec department and the town.
Yeah, how long does it usually take for the background checks? Couple weeks, so it might be 2
Yeah.
weeks from now.
Maybe we-
His start date is supposed to be January 5th, if everything goes through by then.
Okay. So hopefully by the December 30th meeting, we'll be able to make that as a formal announcement. But as I said, I think it puts us in a positive position, so. All right, and then we have several other budgets. I'll let Julie present those, starting with animal control.
These,
Did you email it today?
we'll just put that between us, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
It's not a
That's
hard
easy.
budget.
I can do that right now.
It's $10.
So what, like $1 per line or something?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion for the animal control officer budget of $10.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Jim's still studying.
I know. Jim?
$10 is a lot of money. Okay.
Well, it's $1 for each line, and there are 10 lines, so there you go. 10 times 1. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, next is street lighting.
And I'm gonna make a motion for street lighting of $1.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just need to make sure we shut them off at night.
I think we had one street light at one point that got removed, so.
Mosquito control. That actually is a little bit. Oh, okay.
It was,
How,
29.
how long is that contract for, do you know?
I've got a brand new one that they sent for next year.
Oh, so it's the same amount?
Yep.
Great.
so I'll make a motion for the level funded budget of 29.2 for mosquito control. And just for the public, so they're aware, we actually spent less this year. We spent 20,830. We were budgeted for the 29.2.
There's an extra, I think, $1,200 in there in case we need extra sprays,
Okay.
if I remember,
In case we have a positive test.
something like that.
Mm.
Julie, I
Yeah.
see you have it in front of you. It's something like that.
Well, it looks like there's a
Yep,
delta
somewhere.
of about $8,400, right?
No.
No?
Uh,
Between the 20,830 and the 29,200 in this year's budget, which I know we're seeking to appropriate 29,200. So I just want to.
I thought it was level funded.
It is
It
level
is.
funded.
Oh.
The actual year-to-date is 20,830.
Right. So there seems to be a delta. So I'm just, if we can explain that or.
I don't know if they
Because
had,
we didn't have any positive tests, so
You were-
they didn't do any extra spraying.
Okay.
We started off pretty wet in the beginning of the spring, but then it kind of dried out.
right.
So when it dries out, you lose mosquitoes.
So if we have a positive pool in town, we start spraying the rec fields, the school. Normally, we wouldn't just spray, we just
Yeah,
do larvicide in the,
right. It says as needed to control adult mosquitoes,
Okay.
so on,
So that
at the school and recreation areas.
additional spraying would explain the delta.
yes.
Okay. All right.
So we have a
Just
motion.
$1,200, right? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's $1,200 is
Okay.
our contract.
Per spray.
No,
I believe.
total.
I'm sorry?
The 8,000 confused me.
The adult deciding is 1,200.
Right, I'm just looking at the year-to-date versus budget.
Yeah, I have no idea why they didn't charge us the full amount.
If they haven't completely built everything yet.
Well, what date is this?
Today,
But the contract is for how much total?
29.2.
I got this yesterday. I don't know if it's that thing where different
Oh,
ones are.
you know, actually, yes. This was one that I put in.
Okay,
Yeah, you're right.
This is dated 9/25.
Yep. That's when
Okay.
I put the budget together.
What do they
a
have in the
while
budget?
ago.
So this is a bigger.
No. Oh, I think it's up from,
So we've paid a different
we've
bill?
paid 28, so so we're off by that.
By the 1,200.
$1,200, okay.
Okay,
So
so the
I'll-
delta is only $1,200 based on current year expenditures at $28,000. And that 1,200 would be the additional
Treatment.
spray. Yeah,
Second.
Okay. I think we got that explained. We're all good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now, I think
Insurance
insurance,
benefits,
but I
right?
think you said
Yeah.
earlier we need another
haven't-
week for that.
I haven't received all of the enrollment forms, so I can't speak to that one yet.
Okay.
All right, moving on to old business. We spoke last time about a cease and desist at,
That lot number.
yeah, at that lot number. 216.035.000. There was some concerns to make sure we had the verbiage correct with regard to the cease and desist. In the meantime, the owner of that property has made a new application that had come into our planning board, assistant planning administrator, Mr. Kennedy, as of yesterday. So that would start the process anew at the planning board. My understanding that is that when the process was terminated last time with the denial, that the applicant had submitted a majority, or a majority is probably not the right way of characterizing it. Most of what needed to be reviewed by the planning board, but had not shown for the final meeting. So now is going through a reapplication. My thought process is to defer on this and allow the planning board to re-review this, but leave that open to this board if they want to do anything differently.
I would agree with just allowing the planning board to move forward. If there's a new application, let them process it, and then we'll go from there.
Hasn't this been in progress for like 9 months now, though?
I don't know. It's been a while. Can you answer that question, Mr. Kennedy? In terms of how long that process had been going on at the planning board?
Again, Mark Kennedy, Land Use Administrator for the Town of Brentwood. If you just allow me just a minute to look through the file, I can find the original application. I can give you an exact date.
Yes,
Have a
thank
safe
you.
night.
Yeah,
And
good night.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
I guess, Mark, can I keep talking while you're looking, or will that be a distraction to you?
I'm so sorry.
I was just gonna keep with my thought process.
The original application was submitted on 7/30/2025, so July 30th.
July 30th?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
August, September, October, yeah, so it's been 5 months.
Yes, and my understanding from the planning board conversations is that this is a property that has historically been used repeatedly for non-permitted uses. So I guess I would like to still send this letter and say, if there is not a approved site plan by February 1st, we'll start imposing fees.
I can give a history on the property if you so wish.
Thank you.
You would.
Please do, yes.
Yes.
Yes, as Andy indicated in the last meeting, there was originally a farmhouse there and a very large red barn. The barn and the farmhouse were removed, and nothing really happened with the site. It just sat there. Then I'd say tailings or ground asphalt started showing up on site. It was dumped by the truckload. That was the only activity for a while. Then that ground asphalt or tailings or crush was leveled out. Nothing was ever really brought in or parked there. All of a sudden, the mats started showing up. Now, the mats were being used for when they were doing the power line work. They were actually mats that they would lay down within the wetlands areas so they could drive excavators, they could drive trucks. sort of looked at it as a public service a bit. It was very close to the location that they were doing the work in. The mats came, the electric company did the work.
It was a way of, not.
Staging.
Yeah, staging and.
Staging, those big giant wooden mats.
Right, and
that-
not impacting the wetlands.
If they drive
Yeah.
the tractor. curb.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
Excavator.
It was the only way to access wetlands
Right.
safely.
Yeah.
Was using those mats. The mats showed up, the mats left, no activity until this particular situation that we're in now. And that's when the planning board took action.
When is that, around July?
Yes. Yeah, very close to that. I would say late June. Late June.
So there's no issues until late June this year.
I mean, bringing in the mats, yeah, that was an issue, but
It
Is-
wasn't.
is-
it wasn't the sale of goods. Yes, we kind of turned a blind eye to it. Kind of accepted as a public service, whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent. Now that this, I would say this is substantial activity, wanting to sell goods on the site, and definitely a site plan is required.
Right. And I think I wrongly said at the last meeting that there had been a site plan, but I thought it was just like as a lay-down yard, but I was confusing that with another parcel.
Mhm.
It had never been a site
No,
plan.
this site has had
Yeah.
no approved site plan.
Correct.
Ever. Since it converted from a residential, well, it is located within the commercial industrial district.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Mark,
Mhm.
the landowner had pretty much everything, done everything that the planning board asked, and missed the last meeting, and therefore has to reapply, but we know everything has been done up to this point, so pretty much everything, so it should be.
There were some waivers.
Yeah,
Jim,
I
that,
will add that when the site was leveled out, the planning board did send the landowner a letter asking for intent. What is your intent?
Mhm.
We did not get a reply to that. Now, I will speak to the new application itself and the old application that is still, the new application that's now in place and the old application. I have the comment letters from Mr. Greenwood and the engineering group regarding the site plan itself. In my opinion, the issues that are left over are very minor. I don't see, at this particular issue, I'm not the planning board and I do not make their decisions. But after seeing many, many applications, I look at what's in front of the planning board now and would say we have the waiver that needs to be addressed, either granted or not granted. And what's left on the comment letters is minor in nature. Nothing that couldn't be taken care of with the conditional approval. You would just list those things being taken care of as the condition.
Planning board needs to determine whether
Yes.
the waiver is appropriate under the circumstances. And I think they're well-equipped to do that, which is why I was recommending that we give the planning board that opportunity. And if they feel as though, a waiver shouldn't be granted and therefore, a denial, should be maintained, then it could come back to us. But if they feel otherwise, again, I feel, they've been dealing with this for several months and are well-equipped to
Mhm.
address, this issue. And
I don't see a problem with that.
I would encourage,
I have-
taking their lead.
Yeah, I would think now that there's a new application and based on what Mark is telling us, I think it'd be premature at this point in order to issue a cease and desist. So I would agree to pause, waiting for them to do their process. So we allow them their ability to do their due diligence and the owner of the property to do their due diligence.
As they say in the law, it's really a ripeness issue and
Do,
not yet ripe for our review, in my opinion.
do we need to make a motion for that, or?
I think we can make a motion to
Table?
defer until the planning board has had an opportunity to review the matter. So that's what I would put
I would-
forward as a motion.
I would table it, just so if you want to bring it up as a discussion.
Yeah. Table it
It's-
until,
It's still on the table as your discretion.
Motion,
motion to table until the
Second.
planning board has had an opportunity to review
Yeah.
and make a determination.
The
on
public
matter.
hearing is noticed for the 8th, January 8th. That's the
January
soonest I
8th
could
is
get
the
it,
soonest,
just
huh?
get them in there, yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against?
Nope.
No?
All right, land use change tax, I think we need more information. I know there were some issues, Bob, that you had concern about. I know we had voted last time, but we were seeking more information from the assessor, which may have raised more issues, and I understand that she's not available until next meeting, so we're gonna hold
What-
that.
Can you
Discussion.
just share what those concerns were?
The email that came out, there was only 22 parcels that were approved by the old assessor.
Mhm.
And I think there was 36, I think is what they were seeking.
Mhm.
So if they agreed to the impact fee or whatever the fee is that we're supposed to be getting on 22, we have to honor the 22. That was what was in the email.
Right, but
36, if there's a new assessment, then that needs to be
But
the
there's
new
also
assessment.
no mention of the 50,000.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
The number I saw was 100,000.
Right.
Exactly.
yeah.
So-
And that was a question I had
Yeah,
as well,
so
Letty.
to me, it's like the
and,
numbers were off, but
Yeah, the numbers
it
were
wasn't
off,
consistent.
and there was an inconsistency between 100 and what we were being told last time at 50,000. So I think we need to revisit that.
That's,
Especially since I know we were talking about
Second.
36 parcels and there's really only 22 that are on there. So that's, I don't know how they came to an agreement of 50.
Well, this email doesn't say 50, so that must have been
Yeah.
a different email, maybe.
So I
We're
see
mi- we're mi-
100.
We're missing something. I don't know if we need to undo what we did from last time or just wait until she comes back.
I think
and
she said we
explains this
have,
to us.
we have 18 months to bill, so I don't know if we can bill twice.
yeah, and she didn't realize that you were meeting tonight, so she said she would be here for the next meeting.
We can discuss it next week. And I think at this point,
I didn't know if you wanted me to respond to that email with some questions about the information not matching what she
I would say
talked
that's a
about
good
last.
idea.
yeah, I want to reconcile the numbers. So to me, is it 22 parcels or is it 36 parcels? And is it 50,000 or is it 100,000?
Right.
Because I'm either if it's 50,000 on the 22, I'm talking $1.1 million. If it's 100,000, I'm talking 2.2 million. But then if I have to do the new assessment and it's $200,000 instead of $100,000 per parcel, well, now I got 14 more lots that I have to charge the appropriate assessment on. And
I think if I remember the conversation right, and just looking at this email, the 22 lots was phase one.
That was
The
my thinking.
16 lots is phase two.
Well, 30
There-
lots.
Yeah, so
30
I'm
lots
looking at the
phase.
minutes and so what she was telling us last time is that there were 30 phase 2 lots and she was recommending 50,000 valuation for those lots, and that's how we, I think, got to a
Right.
total of 1 point.
Right, $1.5 million
yeah,
with the
1.5
land use
million.
change tax to be 150.
And it was phase three that we could go
Right,
whatever.
whatever
Yeah.
correct.
current market value.
Right, but the problem with this is that it looks like, it's referring to 22 lots, not 30.
Well, 22 lots was phase one.
Right, but nowhere in here
There's
does
no
it
for
talk
phase
about the
two.
Phase two.
50,000.
Yeah, it's talking about 22 lots valued at 100,000 versus what we were
50
being
grand.
told.
Well, but
last-
I guess are you saying that 22 lots is phase one?
Yes,
And the bill that's in front of us is for phase two?
correct.
For the 30 lots, right.
Yes.
Right, but again, we have different values.
And did we vote on charging that, or I thought we were pausing anyway?
Well, no, we did vote on it, I think, because
Yes.
there was a motion seconded the motion to charge the 150 for the land use change tax was seconded, all voted in favor, and then she had said, well, she'll forward the confirmation with the email. Well, this is the confirmation, and the confirmation isn't
Doesn't
matching.
match, yeah.
So I don't know if we need to put a pause on this, and
Well, she was coming back next week with that authorization and the warrant for the
Ah.
land use change tax to be
So-
signed.
so we'll get that explanation
But
at
in the
that point
meantime,
before we
I'll-
sign anything.
In the meantime, I'll reach out to her and just question.
So nothing happens until we sign that anyway?
Right.
Okay.
Perfect. I will not sign anything until we get further information.
Perfect.
Okay. Highway shed update. Where are we with that?
Letty had asked this to be on the agenda, and I sent out what Wayne had for estimates for,
Heat and insulation?
heat is not included in these.
I thought we had asked him for a boiler.
There's two quotes here.
So one.
What's the main, it looks like one is blown, a combination of blown in and bad insulation, the other one is spray foam. Is there a
Spray,
preference?
spray foam is great unless you have
That's the
to do
second.
electrical work or anything like that, then it sucks to get into it because I just encapsulated it and I have to cut it all out.
So the last time that I spoke with Wayne about the insulation, if I remember correctly, he was going to purchase insulation and they were going to install it themselves in their downtime to save the town some money.
Okay. Yeah, this bid, they were from 923.
Yep.
it's 88,000.
Right.
You want to have Wayne come in for next meeting, just to
Sure.
confirm where things stand?
Yeah, and additionally, we wouldn't be paying permit fees to ourselves.
So I had asked about this because it came up last Thursday at the building committee info session. I was surprised that this building is still not done because I feel like for the last 2 or 3 years, we keep asking, is this building done? And people keep saying pretty much, or almost, or just about. So I
Well,
would like it to be done.
just a quick review of this, I can tell you right now, I would be rejecting this
Hmm.
immediately
That's
because the general contracting fee of 25%, it's 10 and 10. It's
That's-
usually the
that's-
max.
Plus, it's over the amount. I mean, we
Yeah.
couldn't even look at one bid. You know, we
Yeah.
would need to do some sealed bids. It's over.
They basically bid themselves out just by putting that 25% because they're over what the industry standard is.
But given the amount involved here, it's well over. And
So-
we have to go through the sealed bid.
I just want it done. I just
Yeah.
want it to be done. It's
Well,
silly that we
I'm
have that
sure we
building
all
that's
do.
not usable. So I admire that he's trying to save the town money by
When
doing
you
this.
win the lottery tomorrow night, you can,
I'll consider it.
okay.
Why don't we
So
have,
when
Wayne in to get an update for next week.
we'll bring Wayne in to get an update. But last time I spoke to him, he was going to work on getting insulation, and they were going to start working on it themselves to insulate it. And also, he was looking into waste oil furnaces, because when they change the oil in their trucks, they can use that oil to help offset the cost of burning oil to keep that area heated. Now, also keep in mind that we do have the shed that is there already that is heated, that they work on the vehicles, so this would be an addition to. Right now, we park those vehicles inside. It is, somewhat protected from the elements, and so it was it's a process. So I'll invite Wayne for next meeting to update us on everything.
All right, moving on to regular business. Is there any other regular business besides committee updates that we need to go over, Julie?
I don't know how in the past you have handled, this is a Board of Selectmen questionnaire from Plodzik and Sanderson, our auditors. I don't know, I mean, I would complete it, except I've only been here a couple months and I can't answer some of these questions on how you feel
Come on,
about some of
Julie.
these.
Is this like a survey?
Yes.
It's like, do you have knowledge of any fraud or suspicions of fraud? Have you received communications from employees, former employees, or anyone else about fraud?
Do you want to work on that in the first instance, and then you can?
She's
pass it?
not gonna know.
I don't know your if any of you have, I can't answer these. I mean, I don't, unless you each want to come talk to me individually.
Are we supposed to each fill one of those out?
No, it gets signed by everybody, all the board members.
Okay.
Want to
One-
circulate that then, and we can
Sure.
look at it, and if we have any questions with
I'll,
regard to it,
I'll
we can come to you.
email it
Yeah.
to everybody and you can give me any feedback. How's that?
Great.
Does
Perfect.
that work?
Yeah.
When does that have to be done by?
As soon as possible, but
Okay.
if we confirm it up by the next meeting and
Okay.
pass it around to be signed, that would be good.
Do we have the results of,
They're still working on it.
still working? Okay. All right, committee updates. I'll just start for conservation. We had, well, let me just say Rob Wolfchuck is going to take over as conservation chair.
He was chair before, that's a
Yeah,
good thing.
so I think that's a good thing. There was a public meeting with regard to an issue with a rather, tragic issue with someone who has a family tragedy, and we were dealing with a conservation easement where there was a intrusion into the conservation easement, but I think we felt as the compassionate thing to do was to defer all of that off until May 1st after the snow, and we can take a closer look at things. So those were the main things that happened at.
And I did
Concom.
talk to the outgoing chair and offered my assistance to help on that too, so.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Letty?
We had a budget committee meeting last night. They approved the police budget. There was quite a bit of conversation about whether or not we should start a capital reserve fund for police vehicles. There was also discussion about whether or not we could use the existing revolving fund and just add to that. I don't know if that might be a question for you, Julie. Can we add to the revolving fund and then use that specifically to buy a vehicle, or does that have to be a separate capital reserve?
Yeah, I have an email from Jim that
Oh,
I need to
perfect.
look into a number of items.
I thought we had a capital reserve before.
We do. It's a detail fund.
No, but I thought we had, not the revolving account, I thought we had one specific for vehicles before. for
I think
purchasing
if
vehicles.
That's for fire. The police one gets,
Okay.
a police one was old and it would get spent every year. Every time you bought a cruiser, you would zero it out, either back into the general fund or to the contract, whoever you're buying the car from.
Yeah, and I think
There wasn't a
there
standing.
was some question though in terms of how much could be in in that detail fund, and whether or not we have to raise that ceiling and the legality of that. So
Is
those
that
are
it?
all things we need to
I
look
guess
into.
Paul's got it.
Okay.
Every so often it happens.
Okay.
It's like a clock.
It's not so it's not a
twice
question.
day.
It's actually not a question. We do need to, if we would like to keep the detail fund to have more than $40,000 in it, we need to raise that limit at town meeting,
So we need a warrant article to increase that too.
Mhm.
if the board wants to.
I would want to do that just because I mean, to buy a car
Yeah.
and outfit the vehicle, I mean, I think you're talking, Chat, what are you looking at for a new cruiser? What's it, 70,000 by the time you outfit it and everything else?
More, 80, right?
80?
He's not
Coming
looking
up.
to get any cruiser
Come on up.
next year.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think,
Down
if
the
we
road.
have to do this account, we got to move.
Yeah, this year was 65, but that was also with, new equipment. So, you're probably at 55,000 and then reuse radio and existing equipment if you can get the same type of vehicle, so.
So we probably should bring that account up to 70 grand. Would be reasonable to allow that thing to float to 70, because then it would give us money to keep in the account, but still buy something with that revolving account. That would be my preference, to put a warrant out for that, to be accepted, to increase it up to 75 or 70, whatever the board would like to do.
Do you want to look into the process for how that works and get back to us, and then we can have further,
And we
discussion.
can make a motion and do that. We have until February for warrants.
Yep. Okay. Anything else?
We started discussions about what the 4% tax cap number would be. The big variable that the budget committee has to decide is what they're going to use for an estimated revenue number, because that will determine kind of what the 4% is on, or that will determine what the total appropriation will be with the 4% for next year.
To follow up on that, do we have an idea how close we are to that number? Or do they not have an idea of the number?
When you say to that number, could you?
The maximum amount our budget can be?
So that is going to depend on what we use for revenue. So like, we reviewed what the historical averages have been for revenue, and this year's was lower than expected. And I didn't know if that was one of the things that was estimated on, I didn't know if that was something that was estimated or not.
The revenues
Yes.
are always estimated, but based
For
on.
2024?
Oh, for 2024?
Yes.
I can't answer.
Whatever number, so the revenue number that we just used for setting the tax rate was,
2025 estimated revenues.
it was very low. And so having a good idea of where that came from might be helpful, in terms of the budget committee figuring out what the 4% total cap number will be. You want to know what the,
I just want to know if we're close, that's all.
we haven't done warrant articles yet, so I have no idea.
Okay.
I can tell you what my spreadsheet says in terms of just the operating budget, if that would be helpful.
Sure.
So we haven't approved some of the big ones yet, like trash.
Fire, I know Budget Committee hasn't approved.
Right. So I put just placeholder increases for trash because I didn't know what that would be, but I put increases in. We're at 150,000 less than last year's operating budget.
So we're in good condition.
Well, we cut 300,000 from highway, so.
Yes.
We still have to, that's going to be a warrant article.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So you still have to add warrant articles on top of this to get to that total appropriation number. And using unreserved fund balance does not change that calculation. It changes how it affects the tax rate, but it doesn't change the tax cap number.
So technically, right now, we're 150,000 up.
Yeah, because we got, yeah. Fun.
Thank you.
Committee update, I went with Chief Murch this morning to the Police Standards and Training Board, and he was unanimously voted in, passed. So he is approved to go to the training for law package, and so he's on track, and his trainings should start in January for that.
Awesome.
And highway, they handled the storms very well. They did not need to call in extra help, thankfully, because I'm the extra help. And yeah, that's all I have.
And I just did a quick on my calculator, because you piqued my interest there with 150,000 up. So if you look at a $7 million budget, right on that? Okay, so 150 over 7 works out to just around 2%. So
We're in good shape. Rec, they're meeting tomorrow. I won't be able to attend that one. I already told them I wouldn't be able to make it to that one. I'll try to get back in time, but I have a meeting that I'm at tomorrow, not in town, so I'm hoping to get back in time, but it depends on how long the meeting and dinners and stuff like that go to. but I'll try to get back. I think it's at 6:30, so
Here,
here, yeah.
I can attend if you need somebody to
Okay.
fill in.
That would be awesome.
Okay, thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
All right, public comment?
Can sorry, I just processed what you said. Just so, the tax cap is not on the total appropriation. It's on the tax effort. So that's total appropriation minus revenue. The 4% is applied to that number. So it's not that number that you just said, because it's not against 7 million.
Okay.
You just take off whatever revenue estimate is.
Yeah, I'm
off
trying to
the
pull,
7 million.
I have the presentation from last night somewhere that I'm trying to pull up.
I'll leave it to Jim Hajar to explain if you want.
I mean, this is his
When we get the
presentation,
numbers.
but,
Yeah.
no, you go
You
ahead.
want to do it as part of public comment? Because we're moving to public comment at this point. So go ahead.
Come on down.
No,
I mean,
Zing,
I
back
could
and
do
forth,
it,
back and
but-
forth.
It's like watching tennis.
Yeah, I was like, it's like hitting a target.
Jim Hager, Chair, Budget Committee. What was the question?
Where do we stand at this
I-
point as far as how far or how close are we to the cap?
Well, the Budget Committee has not approved the fire, health insurance, trash. So there's some big ones on in there, but the truth is, I think the department heads, as well as this select board, has done an amazing job of hearing what the voters said last year and the tax cap, and you guys have, I mean, everybody has done a great job. I think we are looking in really good shape in terms of a budget toward the tax cap. I don't have an exact number, but I think what Letty was trying to explain to you, and I'm just looking up the presentation I gave last night, because we are trying, we know what the tax cap number is. I mean, I can tell you that, but unfortunately, so the tax cap for this year, for 2026, the net required local tax effort cannot be greater than $5,505,061. That's 4%
Without
higher
an
than this
override.
year's.
The voters can override.
Oh, absolutely, but
Okay,
I just said this is the tax
know.
cap,
I
so
just-
that's the limit. But as Letty was explaining, what we need to do is, because the amount that we're gonna tax next fall, right, when we set the tax rate, to try to figure it out now, you basically need to estimate the revenue, the war service credit, and then the actual overlay. And the one area that we talked a lot about, and I presented a lot of analysis that was looking at the revenue. So if you looked at the last if you look at the last 10 years, it's averaged 5.5%. In the recent last 3 years, it's 6 to 7%. It was actually a little higher. But this year, what Letty's saying is we only went from 24 to 25, it only went up 3.3%. So I kind of did some AI analysis too, because Letty and I had talked about maybe using 5%, but then we thought probably 4% on a more conservative view. And actually, that's what the AI actually came back saying, was to do a conservative measure, you would use a 4% growth rate on revenue. And what it really comes down to, I did this, because you subtract, the revenue helps. The more revenue that we have, the more you gain in your appropriation space, right? The tax cap stays the same, but the revenue helps us with every dollar of revenue that goes up is an additional dollar of appropriation that we can use. And so depending on which percentage we pick as our revenue growth for the year, that'll set, when we go to town meeting, we need to know what's the max appropriation before we have to start saying every dollar or every warrant with an appropriation after this needs the special language and needs the 3/5 majority in a ballot vote, right? That's the important thing. So together, and what we're going to try to do, and I did send you some questions, and I know it was just a day, but together I'll work with you, and then I think between the Budget Committee and the Select Board, we will agree on what is that revenue projection for 2026. That will give us our maximum appropriation for fiscal year 2026 before we hit a tax cap. And just so you know, I also today sent NHMA kind of a what if scenario. We're doing our best effort. The way I see the law is that if we're going to do our due diligence and our best effort to estimate this revenue so that we come up with our estimated maximum appropriation to hit this tax cap. What happens if we would get to the end of the year and we find out that our revenue projection was off by $100,000 or something, right? Well, we've already done our budget. We've already, like, and I just basically asked them, I assume it means nothing happens. You did the best you could. It is what it is, right? So whether the tax, whether we're under the tax cap by 1% or 2%, or we go over it by 0.5% at the end of the year. Anyways, I asked the question to NHMA. I suspect they're going to say there's really nothing that happens. There's no, we don't have to carry into next year or anything, but I did ask that question. So I'm thinking in the next week or so, we'll have that exact number. And like I said, I think it's something that we want to make sure we all feel comfortable with.
I would have to assume as long as you didn't use an unreasonable number as your revenue projection, they would, I mean, DRA would go back and look and say, hey, you used a reasonable number for your revenue, or you didn't use a reasonable number and you're negligent and.
Right, and that's why, Andy, I think we're all trying to document how we did it. You know, we're not just picking it. I think one of us said last night, just pick something out of the air or something, you know. We're doing, yeah, and we'll be able to show. I do know that I asked DRA, it's got to be 6-8 months ago, about, okay, so when we come up with this, do we fill out a form and send it in? And they kind of laughed and they said, no, we don't have this in any system or anything. This is up to you to do this at the local level. We kind of oversee it. So I didn't get a sense that there's like automated systems like some of these other reports that we have to do.
Hold you responsible.
That's okay. I have no problem with that. But I think Andy, you nailed it. I think it's, and Letty and I actually talked a little bit about this after our meeting last night, that we feel that if the two of us feel comfortable with the number that we're coming up with and we document it, we share it with both of these, you know, the budget committee and the select board. We all say we feel comfortable with it. That's what we go with, and then we'll be in good shape. Anything else? Again, I can't thank the department heads and the select board. I think honestly, you're making my job really easy this year. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Last question.
I guess we'll know more.
Yeah,
What you're saying.
who fixed the recording thing? Because
There's a group of people today.
okay. Thank you, because it didn't work again last night. Thanks.
Any other public comment?
Chad Birch, Police Chief. No, this is just up with what happened today with Jim is I need the Form C signed by the hiring authority for, it's an application for the academy enrollment.
Make a
Motion.
motion or second? For it to be signed?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will also comment that when we went this morning, there were a lot of department heads in the state, including the sheriff's department, that pulled us aside at different times and said, congratulations, we're very pleased that you're with Brentwood and we look forward to working with you. And it was nice to see that acceptance throughout the state with Chet. So I was very pleased to see that.
Any other public comment tonight?
We got an email from somebody around 5:15 that asked that this letter be read out loud. I don't know who.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
Seen it either.
I have a name.
So am I supposed to read it? Just
I
because
can read it if you want. I got it. Is this from Alita?
Yeah.
Dear members of the Select Board, I am writing about the attached letter, which I read at the Budget Committee meeting last night. Regrettably, the meeting recording was not working at the time. I hope the issue has been resolved, which it is, for today's meeting. Unfortunately, I'm unable to attend the Select Board meeting this evening to read the letter myself. I respectfully ask the Select Board, please read the attached letter to the public and include it in the official record. So let me open up that letter. Wow, this thing's, thank God I brought my glasses. All right. This is to members of the Budget Committee, the Select Board, and the citizens of Brentwood. It has recently came to my attention that the member of the Select Board, acting as a private citizen, made a social media post on the Budget Committee meeting December 8th, 2025, suggesting that an unnamed Budget Committee member should apologize to the chair for what was described as unprofessional conduct. I would like to address the concern directly. We are all passionate about our town and services it provides. It is only natural that members of the committee will at times disagree in their views. Over the years, there have been many spirited and even heated discussions around the table, which is common part deliberation and decision-making. If the chair felt disrespected during our exchange, I sincerely apologize for any misunderstanding, as that was not my intention. My intent was to address the substance of the proposal and its potential impact of the town services and employees' morale. With the context, I would like to clarify my comments. The library submitted fiscal year 2026 budget that included a 5% reduction from fiscal year 2025, not only meeting the 4% cap approved by voters, but going beyond the Select Board's guidance to level fund. In contrast, the chair proposed an additional cut of roughly $30,000, reducing the library's budget by over 12% and carrying broader consequences by staffing, programming, and services. In that context, reducing library hours by 5 per week was suggested. While such a reduction can sometimes be reasonable, I was concerned that the method proposed, based on my experience in finance and HR, standard practice is to begin with part-time hours to minimize the impact on full-time salaried employees. Had the reduction proposal come from part-time positions, the savings at a rate of $17 per hour plus taxes for 2 employees would have totaled about $10,000 annually. However, the proposal focused instead on reducing the hours and compensation of all library staff, including full-time salaried employees. In my view, the approach is not typical and could reasonably lead to broader structural changes. As has been noted in prior discussions on similar issues, decisions that affect the level or availability of town services should be made by voters at the town meeting, at the annual town meeting. While boards and committees play an important role in budget review and oversight, the authority to determine the scope and level of town services rests with the community and its legislative body. If residents wish to propose changes to services or staffing levels, they may do so through the warrant article petition process, allowing voters to decide. Regarding my later comments about reopening other budgets to reflect Select Board proposals for a reduction under $100, it is important to note that every organization sets thresholds for financial materiality. Previously, the town's de minimis standards, meaning amounts too small to materially affect the overall budget, was measured in the thousands. That may have changed under the current Select Board and the new town administrator, and I would welcome updated guidance. Even so, a $5 annual salary reduction over no meaningful benefit to taxpayers while risking unnecessary harm to overall employee morale. In the spirit of aligning more closely with the Select Board, as has been encouraged, I respectfully request the Budget Committee Chair ask the Select Board to provide clear guidance on what constitutes a de minimis amount. The term has been used frequently by current members of the Select Board. Just on a side note, I've never used de minimis, ever. You do? Who do? I've never heard de minimis.
It's the kind of word I might use.
Yeah,
but,
I've never used it, but nice try. Often in reference to amounts far greater than $5, applying consistent standards to determine what budget changes are meaningful across all departments and committees would promote clarity, fairness, and uniformity. Lastly, I would like to address a social media post by a member of the Select Board following the Budget Committee meeting on December 8th, 2025. I became aware of the post only after another resident reached out, concerned that something seriously had occurred during the meeting. While the post was presented as personal, Once elected, our words, whether spoken in person or online, are rarely interpreted purely in that way. The concern has been raised at the Select Board discussion over the years, including by current board members, and applying that standard consistently would benefit the town. While I respect his right to share his perspective, I would have welcomed the opportunity to discuss those concerns during the meeting or privately afterwards. Social media posts do not always reach the person being discussed or support meaningful resolutions. I generally admire his comments, or his commitment to professionalism and decency in communication, especially among elected officials. I hope he carries those values into all public settings by raising concerns whenever unprofessional conduct arises, as we would all benefit from such an honorable standard. I kindly request that this letter be entered into the official record and included in the meeting minutes. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration. I am committed to constructive collaboration and serving our town with integrity and diligence. Sincerely, Alina Arita, member of the Brentwood Budget Committee. And on a side note, I'm just going to say, I've never used the word de minimis.
Okay, well, thank you.
You have now.
I've read it twice. I don't even know what it means, but I assume it means minimizing, but.
It's a
All
good
right.
assumption.
Well, so read into the record. Thank you. Is there any other public comment? All right.
Can I just say something?
You can. I don't want this to be like a,
Back and forth.
yeah, a back and forth.
I was just going to say that I was the person she was speaking about, and I appreciate the letter.
Fair enough.
Noted.
Anything else?
Do we want to talk about the, should we mention the
Oh, yeah.
meeting that we had?
Yeah, the info session for the police building.
We had, last Thursday night, we had an info session here in this room about the proposed municipal building for the police station. It was well attended, lots of questions asked, lots of questions answered, and I thought it was very good. It was unfortunate that our video wasn't working at the time, but we would encourage anyone, if they have questions, to reach out to us, and they can do that through email. And Letty, what is that email again?
New building at brentwoodnh.gov.
New building at
Brentwood.
brentwoodnh.gov.
And I think we're going to have at least one more info session,
Yep,
if not two.
And hopefully the recorder works then.
Yep.
we will make sure of it.
And then at some point, the select board is going to have to officially decide what, there was a question about length of bond and other various things that we couldn't answer on the committee because it's a select board question. So I don't know when that conversation happens.
We should probably work on it soon.
I don't know how that works to find out payment amounts.
Yeah,
and
it
stuff.
depends on what the rate is and everything else. And I still have concerns over the engineer's proposal on the price per square foot.
I
It's
have,
excessive.
so I brought those concerns to the engineer and he gave me more numbers, which might mean things to you more than they mean to me.
Most likely, I want to just know price per square foot.
Yep,
How'd he
he
came up
broke
with
it.
700 some odd dollars?
He broke it down to building cost, site work, generator allowance, general conditions, and then other.
Yep, send it over to me. I'll take a look
Sure.
at it. I would gladly review those, throw them into a computer and come up with a pricing.
I mean, I'm assuming we'll have an opportunity as a board to review this when it comes up, because it's going to be on a warrant for the town, so.
But the select board has to, the select board's the one that makes the warrant.
Right,
Yes.
so when we're doing that, I'm assuming we'll have that discussion. You're-
Yes,
you're asking
I'm more
how
just
or
saying,
when.
I'm more just saying, I don't know what the timeline of that is,
Oh,
given that we have to have the, what did you say, beginning of February is
February
when?
1st, usually you're shooting for all.
So we
bonds
have
to be on
6
February 1st.
weeks, so I don't know how long getting those bond payment schedules and stuff takes, or who does that.
well, we can have, Ambrose take a look at what potential bond payments would be, and then I would anticipate as part of, a discussion about, this potential warrant, there'll be some presentation by, someone on the building committee to us. I think that would make sense.
If that is something you want, we can get that to happen.
Okay, fantastic. I think that would be a great idea.
I guess if you could just let me know when you'd like that to happen, I can reach
I
out.
would say,
After we get all the budgets.
yeah,
finalized.
after the budgets are finalized, because then we start talking about warrants that are gonna be coming in, and as we start figuring out the warrants, because then we won't really have a conversation on the warrants until after the deadline on February, because then we know what we have. There could be citizens petitions and stuff like that that we have to address too. Somebody might decide that they wanna put a bunch of,
I know
Sorry,
it's
things
at our, January, I think it's January 13th would be a Tuesday. Yeah, I know planning board wanted to be there to present on the ordinances, so that should be on the agenda for that
Okay.
meeting. Okay,
Just a heads up on the recording equipment. The problem was that there was a loose cord in the back.
Ah.
So,
People shouldn't be touching those.
Just loosen up behind the wheel. But on that, maybe we reach out to Josh Bertolin and see if we can come up with a contract number for maintenance of, it is a computer system. It does need some type of maintenance, and just sitting there doesn't get updates and maintenance and.
And we really should designate someone to come in and make sure that it's working ahead of these meetings, these important meetings that we have that should be televised,
I am
recorded.
not going to offer to do that.
Okay.
I
I
don't
mean,
blame.
just checking to see if it works. Anyone
Yeah,
can do
making sure that
but-
it's on,
but
that
the-
it can go online.
Well, but then the question is, what happens if it can't? I think that's what Andy's saying.
Yes.
Mhm.
yeah, so I think we should have.
Then we
you know,
set up my cell phone right there and record it.
Well, that's the alternative, but I think it's a good idea to have, some sort of maintenance, service, so we should look into that. Okay. If there's no other public comment, we do have Chief Murch for some personnel-related non-public. Want to thank everyone for coming tonight. Yep, good night. Yep,
Thank you.
all right, I'll take a motion to go into non-public for personnel.
Make a motion to go in non-public with chapter 91A, 311A, B, C, D, E, I, L,
Nope,
M.
just personnel.
Just personnel, which.
Whichever one it is
I
for
couldn't tell you
personnel.
which subsection that is off the top
Whatever
of
it
my
is.
head.
Second.
All right, roll call.
Aye.
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 I
Aye. Okay.
What?
Somebody literally